Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Yana and I'm a registered nurse. If you are new to my channel, big welcome to you. I'm really happy to see you here. In fact, this video is one of the nursing series in my playlist. So if you are looking about nursing studies, nursing career or anything along those lines, please check my playlist for nursing series. You should be able to find all the information in there as I covered a lot of different topics. As for today, I want to answer your questions, guys. So every now and then I gather your questions that you leave under so many videos of mine in the comment section below. They literally left everywhere. Sometimes like you guys even leave nursing type of questions under the videos that I have on my channel and they are not related to my nursing. But anyway, I gather them all and every now and then I do this type of video where I cover like from 5 to about maybe 10 questions. And yeah, I'm happy to answer them all for you guys because sometimes I either don't have time to answer them under the comments in the comments section, or some of the questions are pretty good and I think that if I cover it in a separate video it will benefit everyone because everyone will see it and hear it that way. Okay, so the first question is, do I work night shifts? So let's just specify for those who are new to my channel, I am a registered nurse working for Queensland Health in a general medicine ward, so that you can know where I'm working at. Now, do I work the night shifts? Yes, I do. I do 4 night shifts every month, and the way they schedule it for us is 2 by 2. So I would have 2 night shifts in a row, and I might have like evening or morning shifts before that, and then I will end up by having 2 night shifts. Then I will have a break to sleep. It could be from 2 days and more. Then I will come back for another different type of shifts like mornings or afternoons, and then after a week or 2 I will have another block of 2 night shifts. And always after night shifts you need to have at least day or 2 break to sleep, because the first day after a night shift, especially if you do 2 in a row, it's a dead day. You pretty much sleep all day, you feel tired, and then the next day will be your proper day off. So usually my hospital, they give you at least 2 days and more to recover after your night shift. So yes, I do 4 night shifts a month. Next question. Are you scared from blood and open wounds? No. In a matter of fact, no, I'm not. I've never been scared of blood. I can see blood, no problem at all. I can see open fractures, amputated limbs. I can see different type of surgeries. I can see very deep wounds down to the bones. I've seen it so many times in my profession. Stabbing as well and all of that. No, I'm not scared. Also, I have spent a couple of months practicing in OT, operating theatre, when I used to be a student. So I've seen a lot of knee reconstructions, shoulders, hip replacements, amputations, hernia repairs and all sorts of surgeries, and no, I've been fine. I would say that I'm more fascinated about it than scared, put it that way. I know it sounds so wrong, but no, I actually love it. Again, that sounds wrong. Okay, where do you work? What ward? Okay, I work for Queensland Health in a private hospital. For the safety kind of reasons, I don't want to mention on my channel the name of the hospital, but I do work in a general medicine ward. Okay, so this is it. How many shifts do you do per fortnight? With the hospital for Queensland Health, I do 7 shifts every fortnight, and then I can pick up additional shifts at my hospital if I want to, and I also pick up additional shifts in my aged care facility because I am there in a casual pool. So all in total I would do about 9 to 10. So my 7 are my permanent ones at the hospital. This number is unchanged. I always have 7 shifts. And then I can pick up to 9 to 10. So I pretty much do full time. Did you have problems with English during your studies? I did not have problems with English as it is, but I did have a little bit of difficulties understanding and memorizing some of the medical abbreviations in English, or some of the conditions, because it was not in my language, because English is my second language. And you can obviously hear it from my accent. I was born in Ukraine, I'm European born. But yeah, it was just mainly in the beginning when all this like kind of like new information hit you in your face when you start your studies. But then every time I would come around a new word for a new condition or a medication or some verb, like a medical kind of verb, I would Google it up and I will try to use it as much as I can in my assessments, in when I'm talking, you know, so it could just stay in my vocabulary and I would remember it more. So that was kind of my practice. But yeah, it wasn't too bad really. What was my favorite area for placement or favorite ward? I've done a lot of surgical placements. I think I've been to most of the surgical wards you can imagine in most of the hospitals in the catchment area where they send you to. I think my favorite one was operating theater, number one. I loved watching surgeries and scrubbing. And the second one was surgical, neurosurgical ward in Royal Brisbane. I really loved that ward. Anything to do with the brain surgeries, craniotomies and all of that, it was amazing. It's very difficult emotionally to work there because we had a lot of people who had accidents to their brain by hitting, by falling and hitting their head. A lot of like young people who do scooters and skating boards in skating parks, you know, one of those like uphill skating parks, which was really sad. But it was really interesting to watch those patients when they had like internal shunts, you know, inside after surgeries as well. It was kind of like interesting ward to practice in, and it's a mentally heavy ward as well, because you see a lot of sad kind of situations when people could not gain back their mental cognitive state as they were before the incidents happened. So that would be the saddest part. And people who had cancers, like tumors, different type of tumors in their brain, that was as well kind of sad. But it's a good experience either way. So those two were my favorite places. How hard is it to find a job as a nurse? It is not very hard if you put some work into it. Look, after the COVID has hit Queensland, and I think all the states in Australia, and I'm going to be talking only about Australia, when we needed to do the vaccination, when it became mandatory, we needed to do the COVID vaccination, otherwise we needed to leave the workforce. A lot of nurses, I would say like maybe 20-25% out of 100, left the workforce because they were against the COVID vaccination, especially when we needed to do the first one, when it was kind of like nobody knew what was in that vaccine, how bad or good it is for your body, because it's something that came new, you know, it hasn't been around for long, you know, nobody knew much about it. So a lot of nurses, they didn't like that point, and also they didn't like the fact that they were forced to have the vaccination without given any choice, so they left. And because a big number of nurses have left the workforce, the huge need for nurses has arisen, because we desperately needed nurses. And up until today, we still need a lot of nurses in the workforce due to that reason that happened a couple of years ago, and also just the general burnout. A lot of people retire from the career earlier. A lot of people have injuries with backs, unfortunately. Some people found that nursing is not something that they wanted to do on the floor, rather than going to maybe research units, you know, or teaching kind of fields in nursing, because nursing is such a broad kind of field that you can work and move yourself into so many different directions just by having Bachelor of Nursing Science without even going into masters. You just go into research, you can try different wards, you can go into facilitation, you can go work in the day surgery unit, admission units, you know, all these sorts of different places, and you might even end up not having any shift work but just working your normal morning to evening hours. Depends where you want to be. You can go and work in a GP clinic if you want to, or a community or disability services, or maybe go and work in aged care, where the salary packaging is not as attractive as in Queensland Health, but still gives you some other flexibilities. So yes, finding the job in nursing is not hard at all. Okay, you just need to make sure that you have up-to-date resume, cover letter, and then just apply and cover a lot of safety in your interviews. Remember, most of your interviews, it's all about safety, how safe you will be when looking after patients, okay? And you should be sweet to go. So yeah, don't be worried about finding a job as a nurse after your graduation, because there are plenty. Did you get COVID? Yes, I did. I had COVID twice, and I actually think 3 times. Because when the COVID just hit, I didn't test myself back then. The testing wasn't that mandatory, and like now they want you to test yourself pretty much all the time. Back then, when it all just hit, a lot of people had symptoms of COVID, but the testing wasn't that mandatory back then. So I believe I had COVID back then when it just started, and then I had 2 COVIDs after that, which I actually tested myself and I found that I was positive. So I think 2 times I had it for sure, but I think it was 3 times. So yeah, and I always have all my vaccinations, and I have my flu vaccinations, and it doesn't save me. But they believe that the vaccinations for COVID and the flu in general just make your symptoms easier. Okay, so whether it's true or not, I still feel sick. It was pretty bad actually. The next question is, how much do you pay for nursing degree? How much did I pay for the nursing degree? I have paid, so I have finished my diploma of general nursing, and then I went to at TAFE, and then I went to uni to do my Bachelor of Nursing Science. So I've paid back then, TAFE was 21,600, I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, 21,600 for my diploma of general nursing. And then my uni, it was around 8,000 a year, so 16,000. So all in total, it was 21 plus 16, it's like nearly 40,000, almost 40. Well, I owe to the government. Yes, I took loans. I took a vet loan at TAFE, and I took HECS loan at uni. So I am paying already for it. They just deduct it from my salary all the time. Okay, so this is how much it cost me. And the last question is, how much do you pay for RN Regio? Okay, RN Regio, last one that I've paid now, I've paid $180. For those of you who are new, when you finish your studies, during your studies you don't have to do any Regio payments. Once you finish your diploma or your Bachelor of Nursing Science, you will need to apply for your registration, okay? In order to get a job, you need to have a valid registration, okay? So if you are an EN, you apply for an EN registration. If you are RN, then you apply for RN registration. I think my EN back then was 160 or 170, something like that. And now my RN, I paid in the beginning of the last year when I just started, I paid 100, I think it was 170. And now last one that I've paid less than a month ago, it was 180. And you have to pay it every year, okay? Usually it comes around the end of April, May, I think mid-May or the end of May, you have to finalize your payment. You always need to make sure that your registration is current and up to date. You can't work if it's expired. It's like driving your car. If your registration is expired, you might get a fine, right? So you need to make sure that your radio is paid. Usually APRA, it's the institution, it's a body government body, sorry, that is responsible for all the medical practitioners here in Australia, and psychologists as well, and some other team members too. They will send you usually email reminding you that the portal now for payments is open and you need to pay and renew your registration up until such and such date. So you will always receive like email reminders, so you could keep a track of when you have to renew it. And usually renewal of your radio is on you. Your NAM in your ward or your manager in your aged care facility or community services, whatever, or if you work through the agency, they will need a proof that you have renewed your radio. Usually after you renew your registration, you will be able to go to APRA website, log into your profile and download a certificate of renewal. And then this certificate, you will need to give it either to your NAM if you work for a public hospital or a private hospital, or you will need to give it to one of your managers if you work for any other company. Okay, they will need a proof that you have renewed your registration. So yes, it's $180 for registered nurses at the moment. I'm not sure how much the ENs pay now, but as I said, a couple of years ago I was paying either 60 or 170. I don't think it has changed much since then. It seems like it goes up by $5 to $10 every year. And then you can claim it from your tax return. By the way, every time when your tax return comes, you can claim this regi payment from it and they will deduct it. Okay, so this was the last question for this video. I will try to add more questions and make another video like it next time. If you do have more questions, please leave them in a comment section under this video. It will be easy for me to see and I will add it to my next time filming. For now, thank you for watching, thank you for staying and subscribing to my channel, and I will see you in my next videos. Bye!